This is an open letter to our friends at the CIA. Love you folks. Love Uncle Sam and love you guys at the CIA. But, folks, I don't know what your mission has been defined for you guys. But I'm glad that you're having difficulty. To be to be honest, I'm glad that you have difficulty recruiting people, my friends at the CIA. Because I don't know what your mission is, but what it ends up happening, I don't know what your mission is in general. How you know your mission, but the problem is, whatever the mission that has been defined for you guys, every time you carry it out, it seems it has been to the detriment of the local population over there on this sphere that we live on, ended up being in the detriment of them and the benefit of Uncle Sam, and which apparently that's your job. But you're also been given a blank check of you're free, you're 007. Think of yourself as 007. Do what it takes. Sometimes it takes torture. Uncle Sam has told me do what it takes. Well, it's just then you look at your actions that has happened all over the Middle East and South Africa. It's whatever your mission has been defined for you. What we see as human beings on this planet who have been affected by the ripples of your actions. You see, people get affected by the ripples of your actions because you're a big, powerful organization with a blank check to do anything it takes, anywhere, anytime. You have been given a blank check. You're an organization being given a blank check by the most powerful empire currently on Earth. So you basically, a lot of times, the actions that you have taken to, I guess, further the cause of Uncle Sam. I'm not sure what that cause has been, because I've seen the detriment created in your wake. I have been one of the recipients of the shit that was created in your wake. It's sort of like, I give you one example. The way you went about finding bin Laden. Apparently it was through vaccination, a fake vaccination program, but it actually has been a DNA collection program to identify, to make sure exactly, who you are, to make sure he is who he's supposed to be. Finding the guy just by testing all the DNA is available. Door to door, apparently. But the point is this, but it was a fake vaccine, a fake vaccine program, and you found your guy, and okay, fine, is done. But now the local population are basically stopped trusting the vaccine people, the real vaccine people, because First of all, they're probably pissed that all of their DNA has been collected and you know, organized. That's one issue they're probably going to have. Actually, this vaccine situation could have been a good cover for collecting DNAs of people who come and give COVID tests, which I was one. So you have my DNA as well. Anyway, the point is this, folks, the wake of your actions has created a lot of problems for the local people, because you have been sitting in a very, you know, stable land yourself and have been given a mission to go and, you know, take care of situations if it seems the result of those situation is not going to turn in our favor. Go behind enemy lines, tip the balance, so whatever happens, it would end up to being in our favor. This is basically the job definition of CIA. Go behind enemy lines and try to tip over the situation in our favor. My favor. Now that my can be anybody at the center of the center, which apparently is Uncle Sam. So every time you're in behind enemy lines to tip the situation that has been created into Uncle Sam's favor, but then they all come out. They have all come out that yes, we did this and that and the other too because it was necessary for our benefit. Our interest meant that certain people get eliminated, certain people get executed, and certain people get, you know, imprisoned because of your direct actions. Sort of like, and another case, the case of Iranians, at being the first democracy in the fledgling democracy, they came up with whatever bullshit that was, but still the whole concept of a democracy and electing a president, a prime minister at that time, it was great for Iran. It was great for the people, the population, this fledgling democracy that has just started. And you are sent behind enemy line because Mossadegh, the result of that fledgling democracy election, the result of that seemed to be not in your favor. So you basically go pay people off to remove this motherfucker. Out. Shah, come back. What the fuck is this? Oh, we are for democracy and we are for human rights and all of this bullshit. What the fuck is this? I mean, you can't have it both ways. And you can't say on Saturdays, we love democracy, we are for we are a democracy, we love democracy, and we are for other people also having a democracy. But the guy who would turn into a real democracy was eliminated, and our friends, the Arabs, none of which is real democracy. They had one in Egypt, but apparently that was really no for Uncle Sam. Okay, whatever. I was a no for me too, but that's not the point. If the local population is no, it means democracy is not a form of government that's, you know, is suitable for all. Then what is this? China should be democracy, but Saudi Arabia, no, not necessarily. It's sort of like, why? What's the difference? It's sort of like, and then this is apparently the prescription. Democracy is good, no democracy is bad, but then there are no democracies that are our best allies and assets, and there are some democracies that we don't care about, like, you know, the Venezuelans and the Iranians and the democracies, but we don't care about election fraud. Okay, now election fraud has come home. Everybody's accusing his neighbor of election fraud. Yeah. Folks, you gotta. Here's the thing. That's why I'm glad that people are looking and actually, read about an organization before they join it to find out that, oh shit, this is what they do. This is for the detriment of the local population, whatever that local population happen to be. I mean, Cuba is exporting doctors. 50 years after, they said, okay, Uncle Sam, we are, bad. We are feuding forever. We are not going to be friends forever. And they have turned on each other. The United States and Uncle Sam and Cuba have turned on each other. It's like they're trying to live with their backs towards each other. It just doesn't fucking make sense. And they're supposed to be bad because what? After 50 years, they are exporting doctors. I believe if Cuba continued on the path that I guess you are in favor of, Cuba would be the main exporter of prostitutes right now. Like Haiti. That's the good guy. This is democracy. Democracy was a democracy. The guy was ruling 30 years, but that was okay. That didn't need an invasion. But Cuba, bad. You're not supposed to produce doctors. You're supposed to produce prostitutes for us, the pink skin. Folks, I'm sorry. I hope you don't kill me for this. I hope you don't do bad stuff to me for this. But you're not exactly, I'm not sure what's the purpose. I'm talking on, with my alien hat on. At this point, I'm talking with my alien hat. I'm an alien from outer space. Think of it that way. Your missions, the way hasn't been defined and the way especially has been executed. It wasn't for the benefit of the Afghans to be free. It's a fucking mountaintops. The Russians were going in to, create something, and you went and poured as much weapons as you could to fight for your freedom. The British, there is video of Margaret Thatcher talking under a tent with some smelly Afghans, telling them Margaret Thatcher in the 80s, telling them, yes, you need to fight for your freedom and we will give you weapons. Yes, fight for freedom. Free to live like pigs. Free to live like pigs or goats. We're gonna give you guns to fight for your freedom to live like pigs and goats. And don't go to schools that the Russians are trying to set up for you. And this is the shit that the British have created after 100 years of interfering, apparently for the good of the Afghans. And you guys, our friends at the CIA, have been hand in hand with the British. Basically, you guys have been, executing or whatever has been beneficial to the old British Empire, and in a way that the empire would be beneficial for the empire. Anglo-Saxon Empire, pink-skin empire. But the locals who are not pink-skin have been fucked. Have been fucked. Shitty lives. Lives full of war and revolutions and wars and wars and revolutions and revolutions and wars, because they were trying to keep some kind of stability, and they had real elections. You guys decided that no, we don't want that. Be it Mossadegh in Iran, whatever. at the beginning of the 20th century. You guys, I mean, you exit. Basically, the leader of this, whoever was running the CIA, the top guy, goes in with $1 million, see who he has to buy in order to kick this motherfucker nationalist leader out. Well, nationalist leaders are nationalist leaders. They're trying to work for the benefit of their nation, but since most of the time the benefit of their nations is not, you know, in the same direction as the benefit of Uncle Sam, so we send the boys in to change the direction of, so they would take less, so they can put more on Uncle Sam's plate. That would be, you know, giving, you know, fair wages to Uncle Sam. Or else we're gonna come and kneecap you. You know, start a revolution, start a war, start something. We're gonna come and kneecap you because you motherfuckers should not be able to get off the ground. Or we're gonna sanction you, or we're gonna kneecap you, or we're going to... You're not going to get off the fucking ground if we have to nuke you. If this is the mission of Uncle Sam, it's just too bad. I mean, it's just looking at it as with an alien perspective. Looking at it with an alien's perspective, that you guys on Earth still haven't figured it out. That okay, we got to make shit work without destroying too many lives. So if you have to, you know, shake, you know, hand with Gaddafi, and you know, rub the small of his back, we shake hands with, we rub the small of his back until we can work with him. But in the colonial sense, no French leader thinks Gaddafi is within the same stature as him. So they, you know, nobody wanted to treat him like you know, like a leader. But he's a dictator, as if like the kingdom of Saudi Arabia is not a dictatorship. They have elections, and the Egyptians had elections. Apparently, it wasn't satisfactory for Uncle Sam. So the election was undone, and the elected was thrown in jail, and you know. Well, here's the thing. I don't think they're sane people, the, you know, Muslim Brotherhood, but they're not sane people because you have driven them insane. You have bought their politicians. Their politicians are, you know, the leaders of those, none of them are democratic, and you know it. And the one that was democratic, you didn't like much. So you gave a green light to, you know, take him out. I'm not sure. Then what is this we want democracy thing? What is this? We have been fighting for freedom and democracy all over the world. Is this also the mission of CIA? We fight for freedom and democracy of people all over the world. Seriously? The first fledgling democracy of the Middle East was you know, tipped over and replaced with a monarch by Uncle Sam's great agency, the head of the Uncle Sam's great agency, as old as 100 years ago and as new as like 10 years ago with the Egyptians. It's sort of like it's sort of like the if it turns in our favor, good democracy, the democracy good. If it doesn't turn in our favor, we are okay with monarchies and elected life leaders. Putin being elected life leader, bad, but King of Jordan being elected, a life leader, that's bad. That's good. That's good because Jordan is, we need one. We need, we want to just talk with one motherfucker. We don't need a whole bunch of motherfuckers try to, manipulate a whole bunch of motherfuckers. We just manipulate one. So that one okay, but this one bad. They're both king for life, supposedly. Or Kim Jong-un, king for life, bad, but king of Dubai, king for life, that's good. So it's not democracy that you're after. And freedom, here's the thing. Order and freedom are the two opposite sides. Order and freedom are two opposite sides. So I think I'm for order. But so if we say we are going to arm the Mujahideen of Afghanistan and call it fighting for freedom, what? Fighting for freedom to be primitive, fighting for freedom to, after the Soviets are gone, we don't have a goat in this game either, so we're going to leave as well, because our objective was like, we prefer no order rather than a Russian order. Why? They're spending the money, they're spending the time to bring some kind of fucking order to the mountaintops in their neighborhood. Yes, they're probably going to have some kind of influence, because that shithole is a landlocked country. They need to have good relationships with their neighbors. Might as well be part of their neighbor, Russia, Soviet Union. Might as well be part of the Soviet Union, because without being part of the Soviet Union, they're going to pay through the ass for transportation costs. They have to be very good friends. Afghans have to be very good friends with somebody in the fucking area with access to warm waters. It's either the Russians or the Iranians. And the British have always been against both of those options, because they don't trust the British don't trust the Iranians, and they don't trust the Russians. So the British objective has been to keep Afghanistan independent. Fuck you. Are you going to pay the transportation costs, my friends at the CIA? Are the British going to pay the transportation costs? I mean, the taxes that the neighbors are going to slap on, transit of products, goods through their territory? No. So a landlocked country doesn't really make sense. This thing you guys have about independence, those fucking lines that the British and the French drew on the map with their dicks, apparently, we have to stick to those lines because the British and the French drew it. That's it. Everybody has to be independent. The whole paradigm that you guys function, I am a little, that's why I'm glad that you have trouble enlisting, because a lot of it is blind, taking orders from blind. None of your actions are long-term. It's like nobody at the CIA really doesn't think about, okay, what will be the precautions of what we are going to do. long-term precautions. 30 years down the road, what's going to happen? 50 years down the road, how many generations is going to be affected but by what we do today? That is, if nobody has that job in the CIA, I think somebody should have that job. I think that job is a very important job to have in the CIA. Important job that says the job of the office of what the precautions would be. So all the 25 years and 50 years and 100 year precautions of this action would be. Somebody should be looking over. I think that should be the main department. Sort of like, if you're going to take this action to get this result today, tomorrow, if I'm going to take this action to take this result tomorrow, somebody has to be present in the whole organization. It has to be the office of, okay, this result tomorrow from your action, what result 25 years? Let's sit down, have a talk and say, okay, if we do this today, 25 years later, what would be the result? Because then if this office is not present, at the office of studying things for their long-term actions, for their long-term effect, then you're all blind cowboys. I'm sorry, my CIA friends, but if there is nobody studying the long-term effect of those really consequential actions that you take, if nobody looks at their long-term effects, then it's like a bunch of blind cowboys shooting in the dark. Well, it doesn't have to be dark because they're blind, but they're shooting in the dark. You're shooting at where the sound is coming from and you're blind, for example. And it might hit the guy making the sound, or it might hit the guy next to him, or the girl the other side. It's sort of like, it's like 1 in 10, 1 in 8, 1 in 7, maybe. Let's see. It's that unpredictable. The actions of the CIA that has taken effect over the years, that to the detriment of the host nation, because I guess decided that it didn't, the host nation has taken a decision that is not in our interest, so we're going to tip the face, send the boys in through the back door to tip the scales in our favor, even if they have to break a few laws, squash a few moralities, and morality of this fucking fledgling democracy is trying to get on its feet. Could we leave them alone? Yes, they may get a nationalist leader, but that's the whole point, right? A leader that cares about his people, or his people and the people of other countries and the whole planet. I mean, a good leader is a leader that says, not only my people, but let's try to keep, feed everybody. Well, okay, let's stop shooting, let's start feeding. That's a good leader. That's a good mission to have. Let's stop killing. And the whole idea of freedom fighters and folks, 5% of any society is always up to 5%. Usually it's like 2-3% of societies is always pissed off. Any society, in any way, there is always 2-3% pissed off. Arming that 1-3% and encouraging them to fight for freedom. Somalia is free now. You have to leave home with a Kalashnikov every time you're going out. I guess. I see it. I read about it. You leave home with your Kalashnikov, or the rival gang might think that you're not armed, and might shoot you, try to take advantage of the situation. I mean, free Afghanistan, the great product of the Pinkskins, especially, the Anglo-Saxons, the creation of the British. Afghanistan, it's like they have been free for the past 50 years to kill each other. Free, honey, free. It's not good. Order is good. Freedom is not. Freedom, freedom is a jungle. The big ones eat the little ones. You don't want. You want to educate them first, then maybe a little freedom. You don't want to free the zoo. They're gonna eat each other. Which they have been doing so for the past 50 years. The Afghans have been eating each other, and gladly we sell you more weapons. Fight each other for your freedom from living. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh, fuck. And what's the mission again? What's the mission? And let's call it Charlie Wilson's war. Every politicians get to have their own war with their own little department in the CIA. And once if things go wrong, we just say, oh, we have a democracy and that guy was democratically elected, so he had the right to do whatever the fuck he wants to the other side of the planet, and everybody else supports it. And our great organization here is going to help execute a very nutty idea. Seriously? Okay. How many people have died for the past 50 years in Afghanistan? It could be, right at the bottom of the British check or Anglo-Saxon check. Could be right at the bottom of their check, the number of Afghans who have died as a result of, arming them to fight for their freedom. Fuck. You either have order or you have freedom. Can't have order and freedom. If you think you are free, then in a civilized society, if you think you're free, you should think again. In a civilized society is one of the most strict societies in the world. The stricter, the more civil it is. Because what do you mean you're free? You have to behave in a way that is not bothersome to your neighbor. That's a civilized society. So basically, much of your freedom has been taken away. If you want to live in a civilized society. If you don't, you can get back a lot of your freedom, but then you have to go live in a reservation. There you're free, but then there's a little less order. With all these female Native Americans who have died in the reservations for mysterious reasons. Well, more freedom, less order, unsolved murders. No, order is good, but I mean, and if the Iranians were able to create that order of orderly transfer of power to a prime minister, which was a very good system. Parliamentary system is a very much better system than a presidential system. Presidential system is a very nutty idea. Very nutty idea. Parliamentary system is much better, and the Iranians were having that parliamentary system. And you guys went and fucked it up. Now I ask you. Why? Uncle Sam needed a little more on his plate. I guess.